Whether you have a kid in school or you're going back to school yourself, I have some tips on how to make this your greenest school year yet. Kind of the most eco-friendly way to think about going back to school is thinking, what do you have from last year and what can you use in future years, so that you're not buying new things every year, and find a place where you can store those things so that you'll find them again for next school year instead of them just getting lost in the mix of stuff in your house. Teach your kids the importance of picking out a wardrobe that they're actually going to wear throughout the year, and how much energy and resources go into making the clothing that they have. Maybe pick a really strict budget and that's what they get for the year or for each season. Encourage your kids to shop at consignment stores or thrift stores. Maybe arrange a clothing swap in throughout the year. They've been seeing that one shirt on their friend and they really like it, and she's been seeing a different shirt that you have and you want to swap clothing. Also, maybe wait a little bit until after the school year starts, so you're not buying something that's like so last year and your kid gets stuck with an old fashion. Your backpack is a really important piece of going back to school. It has to be durable enough to last throughout the year, and especially for kids, it can be a big statement about what they like or who they are too. I remember I was so proud when I graduated from cartoon backpacks into like more of a grown-up pattern one, and then I remember being so like ashamed because I went back to a Tweety Bird backpack after I got that one. So it can be a big deal for a kid and what's on their backpack. Look in those thrift stores, look in the consignment stores, check on Buy Nothing groups, check on Facebook Marketplace, check on Craigslist. Find those used backpacks first, and then it's not as big of a deal if you change backpacks every year. But if you're buying a brand new backpack every year, there's also a lot of resources that go into that as well. So try to plan out your backpacks for, if not every couple years, maybe when they're in elementary school, middle school, high school, college. Like, this backpack should last you 4 years. It should be durable enough to do that. Or if you do buy a used ones, maybe then you can buy a new one every year and give your old backpack away to someone else. So when you are looking at backpacks, just keep it in mind, is this going to be the right size for my kid next year? Or are they going to like the pattern that's on the backpack for the next few years, or are they going to get sick of it in 1 year? If you can't find a backpack, or you're like, you know what, I just want a new one, here's some companies to consider for a brand new backpack. So those are some of the backpacks I've found that are a little more eco-friendly or made with fair trade labor. As far as paper usage throughout the school year, first of all, if you're getting like loads and loads of worksheets or really unnecessary like handouts, maybe talk to your teacher or your professor to see if there's a way that you could get those electronically instead of having them print out everything. With the paper that my kid brings home from day to day, I put kind of the worksheets that they don't need anymore, and maybe they have a blank side, I put those in one pile, and you can cut those up into little smaller squares and use them basically like post-it notes instead of buying brand new post-it notes. And then the more precious art projects, I save them till the end of the year, so winter break, and then when school lets out for the end of the year, I kind of go through those and save the ones I really want to keep, take a picture of the ones that could just go into like a book or maybe a scrapbook, and then chuck the rest. As far as getting rid of papers from schools, if it has like a whole bunch of paint or glitter or all sorts of junk all over it from an art project, that does go in the trash. But if you have even staples or paper clips and things, you can put those papers into the recycling and that'll get sorted out in recycling. If you're headed off to college, see if you can find used textbooks first. It'll save you a lot of money and it'll save on that paper. Check out eBay for textbooks. There's Amazon textbook rental or ecampus.com. So check those out. Maybe your school has a system where students can exchange used textbooks or buy or sell them on a certain system. So check those out if your school offers that. There are different choices when it comes to more eco-friendly paper. Look for paper that has chlorine-free manufacturing methods, is FSC or SFI certified, or ISO 14001 certified, or recycled. Some options I found online that fall under those different classifications are New Leaf Paper, Printworks, Hammermill, Tree Zero, HP Bright White Printer Paper, and the Up and Up Printer Paper. Kind of the same thing with notebooks and folders. Look for any of those certifications with those. I know there's definitely some like hardcore nostalgia for me, like looking for like a Lisa Frank folder at the beginning of the school year at Target. Maybe if your kid gets to pick out a brand new folder every year and that's like their folder for the year for your filing system, that might work if they want to get a new fun folder. Otherwise, you can usually use the same ones year to year. You can just cover the labels if you want to label them for your classes with like sticker labels, and you can write the name of the new class on there. Some of the notebooks I found are the 5-star notebooks, the Paperage recycled notebooks, EnviroNotes 3-subject college ruled notebooks, and there's the Rocketbook Smart Reusable notebook. So if you're into saving all the paper and you want to do more of an electronic thing, I've never used one, but it looks like you can kind of scan it into your phone to catalog what you just wrote and clean it off with a damp cloth. Samsil Earth's Choice Bio-Based Durable 3-ring binders, Oxford 2-pocket folders, and green room binders also fall under some of those categories. If your students' crayons still have life in them at the end of the year, reuse them for the next year if you can. I know some teachers just ask you to buy new crayons for the whole class and then the class uses those. Ask your teacher if you can keep a bucket of the used crayons and then either have them sorted at the end of the year or volunteer to sort them yourself to take off less pressure from your teacher. Or you can send them into the National Crayon Recycling Program. They prefer if the wrappers are left on because they actually sell those to use as like little fire starter kits. But otherwise the crayons kind of get melted into cool shapes with fun different colors, like multicolored, like giant crayons that you can buy, and that way those crayons get more life out of them. If you're looking for an alternative to the traditional crayons, which are made from non-biodegradable paraffin wax, which is derived from petroleum, from oil, you can look into vegan soy crayons or beeswax crayons. Some companies that make those are Honey Sticks, Faber-Castell, Uli, and Prang. Kind of the same deal for pens and pencils. Look for ones made out of recycled materials. Some of the ones I found are Tip, the Infinity Pencil, the EcoTree Eco-Friendly Rainbow Pencil, Eco Newspaper Pencil, Simply Genius Eco-Friendly Pens, and Sprout Seed Pencil. Some other art supplies are Onyx and Green Erasers, Onyx and Green Scissors, and Onyx and Green Bamboo Rulers. Even when you're away from home and at school, remember to keep your recycling and composting habits up. If your school doesn't do recycling or composting, figure out a way that you can bring those items home with you safely so they're not going to get everything nasty and dirty in your backpack, so you can recycle them or compost them at home. If you are seeing your kid come home with a lot of extra lunch that they're not eating at school, or check in with them every once in a while to make sure they are eating lunch at school and not wasting anything. If there are changes you need to make as far as making your lunches ahead of time, or picking the dates that you do it instead of eating hot lunch every day, work that out with your students. When I was in middle school, we had these little baggies of little baby carrots that nobody ate, and everybody just threw them away. So first of all, those little plastic baggies could be recycled and the carrots could have been composted. But I had guinea pigs, and I didn't eat the carrots either. But everybody would drop their carrots off at my table after lunch when they were bringing their trays out, because I knew I had guinea pigs and I fed my guinea pigs the carrots. The school maybe shouldn't have been feeding us the same thing every single day, or they should have noticed that every day those carrots are getting thrown away. If you're packing a meal and you need a lunch box or a lunch bag, check out Eco Lunchbox, So Young lunch bags, Full Circle Zip Tuck Kids reusable plastic food and storage bags, and beeswax food wraps, which I love to wrap either cookies or fruit in, but you just got to make sure that you wash them in cool water, not hot water. As far as transportation goes, if your district provides you with busing, that'll probably be the greenest option for your student to get to school if they won't be walking or biking. Now, you could certainly get into the logistics of whether or not it would be greener if you have an electric car. I don't have a definite answer for that one, but I imagine there are some factors. Are there other children at the bus stop? Will the bus stop and wait if they don't see you? Would the bus be rerouted if you never took it? Are you often running for the bus, causing it to sit and idle? What type of bus does the school use? So beyond the nitty-gritty of figuring out emissions, here's some ways to help make your school greener when it comes to transportation. Encourage walking and biking when it's safe to do so. Don't feel comfortable letting your kid go alone? Maybe you're able to go with them and squeeze your workout in at the same time if you're not working. Take the bus when walking or biking isn't practical. Check your state's laws on idling. Ask your school to create signs for the parent pickup zones to encourage engines being turned off. and support your school district in exploring options for replacing diesel school buses when it's time with propane, CNG, and electric options. And kind of the last tips are get involved with sustainability at your school. If you're not seeing a lot of these measures being taken to protect the environment, to protect students, to create a sustainable culture in a school, start a club. Talk to a teacher, get your kid to talk to a teacher. I would imagine it would be really hard to say no to a first grader that's asking their teacher to help them make the world a better place. As a parent, see if you can volunteer to help make some of those things happen at your kid's school. If you're in college, seek out an eco club or a sustainability club that works with your school. Or maybe you have some skills and you could start like a pollinator yard or a edible garden at your kid's school just to have a garden around and create some habitat. And do your research on who is running for school board in your district. Support candidates that have sustainability, inclusivity, and science on their agendas. I hope those tips were helpful for you to have a greener new school year. If those were helpful, please like and share. And if you haven't, subscribe down below by hitting the little subscribe button and that bell.